Macism with another, well, let's call it a basic live stream. Haven't done a live stream in probably a month. Sorry about that. I noticed I lost 2 subscribers. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a live stream for a while. It was just time, laziness, working on other things, and then because of depression, having lack of interest in hobbies, anxiety over some bullshit and stuff. But decided to do this. We'll do a live stream, and I figured I would start with the topic that's been on my mind for a few years, that I always wanted to address but never made the time for. Had discussions with other people who play fighting games. So I guess what I'm going to say is going to cover all realms of fighting games, the fighting game community, how to approach as a beginner playing fighting games, because I think that's where it all begins, is there, the source of just fighting games, the fighting game community, how people enjoy fighting games resurgence. I'm sure some people just see this title. It's like I said, this is a pretty heated topic, but most people won't bring it up. Sort of like how most people won't bring up the fact that the competition in the art community and how competitive being an artist is. You know, most artists, they'll be really hush-hush about it. They won't be open about it because they would be afraid to hear what other artists say. Artists are pretty empathetic to each other's feelings and opinions, and me, when it comes to logic and intellectual, discussions, I take feelings out of it. So that tends to make me the asshole and the bad guy in many of these discussions. I know this because many people message me and tell me that I'm not wrong. It's just things you can't bring up in a community where everybody's trying to be buddy-buddy, trying to network amongst us, amongst other artists, trying to get jobs with other artists, trying to collaborate with other artists. Is not something you want to bring up openly, because like I said, your reputation is everything in the art community. That applies to any community you were trying to get in, even the fighting game community. But popped in some Street Fighter 6. First, let me see if my live stream has popped up, because I don't want to be talking to myself and nothing's getting broadcast. Which is pretty annoying when that happens. I do all this talking and preaching, and only to find out that nothing's getting broadcast. But let's see. Let me check on. Didn't spell my name right. Alright, so I am live streaming. That's good. Make sure the volume's down. Okay, cool. I am laggy as fuck. It is kind of lagging. Let's see, how far ahead is this one? It's a little bit behind because my Wi-Fi is ass, which is understandable. But let's get to it. To answer the question of did high-level play destroy the fun of fighting games, I would have to say yes and no. But it all depends on who you are as a player and what you want to get out of fighting games. I can only speak for me, so I'll touch on that first. From my perspective and from my experience, I've been playing fighting games for over 30 years. I'm a 46-year-old man, and no, that doesn't make me a boomer. I am Generation X. Boomers were born during the baby boom generation, which was after World War II. I am not that damn old. My mom's a part of the boomer generation. I'm Generation X. We were that transitional generation. You know, we were the ones who we came along. Some of your parents were hippies, slackers. Some of our parents, some boomers, were also a woke generation because many of them were hippies. They grew up as teenagers during the hippie generations. Our generation was the last that was raised on universal truth and common sense. We weren't raised primarily on technology. We had to go outside, play. We played with toys. We had Saturday morning cartoons. We were the generation who were told we can achieve anything in life, but we had to work hard for it. Generations after that, they say, yeah, you can achieve anything in life, but they forget to tell the youth you have to work hard for it. Our generation, the whole work hard for it was beat into us. So we had universal truths growing up. But that is then and there. As far as my whole thing with fighting games, grew up during the dawn of the consoles, you know, the late 70s, so Atari. Never owned an Atari. Had relatives who had Atari. My first console was the NES. First beat 'em up I ever played was Kung Fu at the arcade before I got an NES. It was a simple beat 'em up, and beat 'em ups before Street Fighter 2 and Yai Ar Kung Fu were considered fighting games. So yes, I played beat 'em ups. Those were fighting games before Street Fighter came along and pretty much set the standard for fighting games. Throughout my time playing them, I got hooked, just like a lot of people, playing Street Fighter 2. I do remember playing Yai Kung Fu at the arcades. It was a 2-on-2, but you're playing against the computer. You start out with one dude, you play against various other characters 1-on-1. They all had, you know, special moves and different attacks, and your whole goal was to beat all of these people and beat the final boss, and you'll beat the game. Chun-Li wasn't the first one of my fighting games. The first one of my fighting game was in Yai Ar Kung Fu, and she was a pain in the ass to beat. She was like the third character you had to fight, and she would whoop your ass because she had projectiles and shit. So I'm going way back to pretty much the golden, you know, era of fighting games before Street Fighter. And so you basically had the arcade era. So basically you go to arcades, you put your quarter down, and you play the game, and whoever wanted to could come up next to you, put their quarters in, and you can have a little fight. Whoever wins, stay at the arcade cabinet and continue going on through the little arcade mode, while the loser could either put in more money, challenge you again, or decide to just, okay, you got me, bro, and just take their loss and go about their day. You know, that's how it is. With you know, the arcade era of fighting games. But to me, I'm a visual person. If you've been following my live streams, I tell you that I'm an artist. It's pretty much almost my day job at this point, since I don't have a day job. I make fan art, I do commissions, I travel to conventions, I sell artwork, and I've always been a visual person. I've always been an imaginative person. When I play with my toys, I develop storylines. They were elaborate stunt shows, and fighting games just brought all my kung fu, ninja, combat into a place where I no longer have to use a lot of my imagination. You know, all the visuals are on me on the screen. I can control it with a button and just pull off cool, fun shit. That's what got me into fighting games. I treat it like a visual medium for me to just go out, live out my imaginative fantasies, push buttons, and to just enjoy playing the game. Which I think a lot of people do when they first pick up video games in general. That's just how it is. With me particularly being more visually inclined, it became an obsession with me in fighting games. I think I've owned in my 30 years of having fighting games, over 100 of them on various consoles. I still collect them. Shoot, I'll trade a game in and buy it within a few months of each other. I'll buy multiple copies of the same game on different consoles. I've had all versions of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I had multiple versions of Street Fighter on different consoles, different versions of various fighting games. I don't discriminate when it comes to fighting games. If it has visuals and appeal that I like, even if the gameplay is kind of janky, I will still play and enjoy that fighting game. It doesn't have to be a AAA title. It doesn't have to be from a specific company. It just has to have visual flair, be graphically impressive, and basically doesn't play like total ass. Even still, I own a few fighting games that play like total ass, but they bring something to the table that I feel that is cool, that makes the game fun for me. So I can't consider myself filthy casual. I consider myself above casual because I do have the hand and eye coordination and an understanding, and also have a competitive nature where I can pick up a fighting game. You give me a few months, I can play pretty well and hold my own against people who have an intermediate understanding of a fighting game. Now, am I going to be beating down people who are good, who lab for hundreds of hours in a fighting game? No, but I can annoy the fuck out of them. I have a natural affinity for playing fighting games. I just don't have the work ethic to put in thousands of hours. Well, especially at my age now, because of life. You know, back in my younger days, I actually did put hundreds of hours, but I never put thousands of hours, in learning to, master all the frame shit, what moves can out hit what moves, I can abuse, what moves my opponent can hit that I can block and punish. If you play a game a lot, you will have a basic understanding of that when you play these games for long periods of time and against different opponents. But before I go to the next side of this, I'm going to continue talking about this because there's a lot that goes into this thing, and I want to make sure that I explain myself in a way to where I won't just have trolls and idiots coming into whatever offering their 2 cents without getting a full background of where I'm coming from. So basically, I play a good chunk of my favorite fighting games above a casual level, but I am no way a point to where I could go online and, what a lot of people are doing right now, investing hundreds to thousands of hours trying to get master rank in this game. Nah. I think I'm at bronze. I admit, I lost like my first 5 matches, and then after that, I went on like a 5 to 6 match winning streak. But I have to give it up to Street Fighter 6. I play a lot of War Tour. Before I start to play any ranked or against anyone, I go through War Tour, go through some random battles, even to go against some hard challengers and stuff like that, to warm myself up before I start playing against real people, so I can get my, warm up my reactions, polish up my combos, polish up some execution before I start beating, fighting real people. Because I know, like I will touch on later, that to get enjoyment out of these games online, you have to play at an intermediate level. You can't just be a beginner and go online and play fighting games. You're just going to be basically cannon fodder for people like me in, you know, above a casual level. You're just gonna pad people's win and loss records. It is what it is. That's the competitive environment. That applies to sports. That applies to life in general. Like I said earlier, I come from, you know, I'm in the artist community. It's competitive, even the artist community. If you're a good artist, you will get more attention than the shitty ones. Now, you could be a shitty artist and have a lot of attention, but that's because people like you as a person. But that's because it's art. It's subjective. But when it comes to wins and losses in a fighting game, you know, almost doesn't count. You win or lose. And that's what kind of makes the competitive side of the fighting game communities and fighting games very cutthroat. Because it falls down to you, the time you put in to better your skills. And this does coincide to why the high level play kind of destroyed the fun of fighting games. But over the years, as I start to play more different fighting games, I slowly got introduced to the competitive side. I went from the arcade era, and then when it started hitting consoles, like I said, when Street Fighter 2 hit Super Nintendo, you know, there was a lot of people who had the game. You would go to your family member's house, your cousin's house, your friend's house, and you just beat each other's face in. The game was so popular that I even played the game with my mom and my dad. They were like, oh, let's pick up that Street Fighter. My mom would pick Chun-Li and do the lightning legs the whole round. You know, she couldn't poop out a fireball to save her ass, but she can do the lightning legs. You know, you just mash the kick button. You know, she can pick up and play a little Street Fighter 2. And so it was one of those things that everybody was like, oh, it's Street Fighter, you know, just pick up a controller and you push buttons. But then, you know, you meet that one family member, like I had a cousin, you know, and I would go to his house and he introduced me to the jab, jab, throw frame trap in the corner with Kid in Street Fighter 2. It was like, and this was before I knew how to Dragon Punch and other shit. So after, you know, getting my ass beat in for all afternoon with this cheesy ass tactic that he was using, I decided to go into training mode and just spent hours just learning how to do a fucking Dragon Punch. Because I'm competitive, you know, nobody likes to lose. And that is the beginnings to me when it came to high level play. I started picking up games like King of Fighters, which had a more looser kind of gameplay, Fatal Fury. Holy shit, this dude's a level 86? Dude, I'm only a level 34. But I have to fight that guy later. But, and I learned how to link certain moves, certain normals into special moves. You know, I had basic 2 to 3 to 4 hit, 5 hit combos. I would play the game on level 8 difficulty. So my reactions and knowing when to punish the computer, when to throw, when to block. But the computer already has a set strategy to beating you. So once you pick up all those cues, beating these games on level 8 difficulty was really no problems. Well, until like the modern era where they actually do program a reactable AI. Granted, in some arcade games, they'll push the difficulty up where they can read your inputs. Even still, if you play the game long enough, it becomes like a game of memory, sort of like when you play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's like Mike Tyson Punch-Out, your first time to it's gonna seem like the hardest game on the planet till you realize it's a puzzle game at its core. Every boxer you face in Mike Tyson Punch-Out has a weakness, has a tell of what kind of attack they're going to do, and a counter for their specific attack. Same thing kind of in fighting games when you play the computer. But when you play against other people, it's a whole different story because they can adapt to your bullshit and you can adapt to theirs. But so I started out with 2D fighters, transferred over to 3D fighters. 3D fighters are more my thing. one of my buddies was like, dude, Max, since they introduced modern controls, why don't you play with modern controls? Because he tells me, it's like, your strength is the mind games, knowing when to bait my opponent, when to punish, when to attack. He says those are my strengths. I'm a reactive type of player. I'm reactive, but I also kind of set my opponent up to fall into my traps. I'm basically like a thinking, reacting type of fighting game player. But he says I suck at execution. Execution just means that I just don't pull off my combos all the time. I don't do max level damage with my combos. I don't try to do any cool flashy stitch that's going to take away half your life bar. He says I'm not that type of player. He says I'm not a lab monster. He said the only time he noticed I lab is when I'm trying to counter certain strategies. It's like when I lab, it's trying to beat what you're doing to me. I'm not trying to basically learn how to execute. High level execution is not my thing. It's not my thing when I play these fighting games. And so 3D fighters are more my niche. There's not so more, hard to do inputs. The inputs are a lot simple with 3D fighters, because I beat my buddy's ass when it comes to like certain 3D fighters, but he totally beats the shit out of me in 2D fighters because they require a lot more precise inputs for execution. And that's pretty much his thing. For me, it's more about the 3D fighters, more so. So over time, I would have to say in the early 90s, I don't know if you watched one of my, the mid 90s. If you watched my other video when I bring up the fact, I think it was in my Dead or Alive video, when somebody brought up the study and talked about, oh, this is the best time for fighting games, and I pretty much, said, oh, that's some bullshit. I was like, nah, the best era for fighting games was in the 90s, because like I said, we were having bangers every year. Every year we were having fighting games. It's like, now your fighting games, you'll probably get 2 or 3 coming out probably a year. And it's like, it's not from the major companies either. The major companies like this game, you could be playing Street Fighter 6 for the next 5 to 7 years. That's a fact. Yeah, they're gonna have new characters. Rashid just came out. They're gonna have new characters, new stages, updates, yada yada yada. That's fighting games now from the major companies. But I've been playing so many fighting games. I'm a fan of like a lot of franchises. I pretty much owned all the Tekken games. I don't see myself getting 8 because I don't plan on getting a PS5 or an Xbox X. I own every Street Fighter, owned every DOA game, I own every Virtua Fighter game, I own every King of Fighters game, I own just even wrestling games. I think the only fighting type of games I haven't touched was UFC games. I even got waifu, all female fighting games. I love the combat, I love the visuals, love the action, things like that. And so I would have to say during the 90s, it was pretty much fun. You just go out there. There was no online play. Up until the Dreamcast came along, and there wasn't no real fighting games you could play online on the Dreamcast. So basically, it was just you. The only way you're gonna get interaction if you hit up a golf LAN, play people at the arcade. But no, once fighting games come to console, I didn't give 2 fucks about playing in arcades. So this is also why I didn't come into the high level scene until about later. But pretty much, I didn't go in the golden age, which was probably like in the 90s. There is some footage, Alex Valle and them playing in tournaments, and Japanese players, before YouTube playing in Street Fighter 2 tournaments, and there was even tournaments in the early Mortal Kombat scene and things like that most people don't know about unless you were in the scene. But yeah, there was a golden age era. And then there was the Silver Age era. I would say the Silver Age era is when Justin Wong came on the scene, and Daigo became a household name, and that was like probably in the around, you know, when Street Fighter 4 came out. That was the Silver Age era, because there was a Dark Age era where there was no Street Fighter games coming out. You know, a lot of the fighting games were like kind of blah. It was between like real beginning of the 2000s, between 2000 up until when Street Fighter 4 came out. You had a lot of fighting games coming out. You had multiple DOA games, you had Tekken games, you had Virtua Fighter games, you did have some Capcom games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and stuff came out on console. And even then, people considered that the Dark Ages of fighting game just because there was no real Street Fighter. You did have Street Fighter 3, but nobody really cared about Street Fighter 3. A lot of people didn't like Street Fighter 3. Even though a lot of people say, you know, they love Third Strike. But Vanilla Street Fighter 3, yeah, not a lot of people like Vanilla Street Fighter 3. For one, the roster was ass. Ain't gonna lie, the roster was ass. Anybody telling you otherwise was whatever. But there was a lot of fighting games released in the early 2000s, but a lot of it got ignored unless you were playing those fighting games. It's like shit. I forgot when I think Street Fighter 2004, no, not Street Fighter, King of Fighters 2004, aka King of Fighters 11 came out. To a friend of mine, a coworker, told me that he went to arcades like, yeah, a new King of Fighters is out. I was like, what? I thought King of Fighters died after 2002, 2003 dropped, and then they had the Maximum Impact 3D ones. It's like, nah, you know, even though I did a whole video talking about SNK, how people thought they were bankrupt and all this other shit. I said, yeah, but they kept on making fucking games. They kept on making games. And so, yeah, a lot of shit was coming out. But I have to say, I got introduced to the high offline. I was playing online, but that was just my competitive nature. I just wanted to go online, you know, play against people for shits and giggles. And I was holding my own, especially in games like Capcom versus SNK 2. What other games were I playing online back then? I wasn't too good at Third Strike. I liked playing online, but I wasn't very good at that game. I was at least getting to S rank in DOA games, playing online. But then I got hit with the offline competitive scene when I started to get involved in fighting game message boards and fighting game sites. And like I said in the earlier video, the fighting game community online back then was very, very toxic. It was toxic. It was very toxic. Anybody tell you otherwise, they were a part of the problem. It was not welcoming to newcomers. The high level community was not welcome to newcomers. And you know, before, I would have to say, at least before 2012. I would say before that, it was rough getting into any high level community, you know, back then. It was a lot of theory fighter, it was a lot of people talking shit and not being able to back it up, but that's the internet. People will talk shit just because it's the internet, and anonymity, whatever you want to say, means people could just talk a lot of shit and don't have to worry about backing up, because, you know, online play wasn't really established. And then when online play did get established, it was like, well, now you can talk shit and back it up and things like that. So I got introduced to high level play in the Dead or Alive community, and like I said, it was very toxic, a lot of theory fighter, but this community was already had their inner circle of high level players. They were big fish in a small pond kind of community, because, you know, they never played anybody outside their circle. And so they also did a good job of gatekeeping people out of their circle. You know, you had to prove you belonged in their circle, and basically they're daring people to travel to Dallas to play in their, you know, their offline events. And then when online play came with Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, it became a different story. A lot of these people got triggered when they started fighting out. It's like they started getting their face beat in by a bunch of people they didn't know. So then it went from, okay, you're not good, you know, you only beat me, you know, online, you know, you got to come beat me offline, you know, that kind of rhetoric was going, you know, in that community at the time. You know, they kept on moving the goalpost when it came to people trying to get into their, you know, their circle, you know, and then they handpicked who they wanted in their circle. You know, you had, just like with anything in life, you got to earn your spot, you got to earn your respect. But, you know, people are not fair about it. They're not fair about it. they'll just raise the ante as soon as you know, you survive one difficulty or one obstacle. They'll make up another just to block your progress, and you won't break that ceiling until you get somebody in the community who's at their level or above them recognize you as being a high level player. Only then will that person recognize you as being a high level player. And so the fun of just going online, you know, beating people was not about just about that. It then became, okay, you know, if you, okay, you know, it was about putting people in their place. It was about, you know, gatekeeping. It was about showing off. It was about embarrassing and putting somebody down. It was almost like using games and your skill in the game to just embarrass and then put somebody down and put you above others. And that's when fighting games stopped being fun. That's when the high level community really made fighting games not fun, is when it came to that aspect of it. It's like, you could play a game, you know, you're looking for friends, you're looking to, you know, just play other people or meet passionate people like you who play the games. But it ended up being about who has the biggest dick, you know, in the end. You know, you're going to have those players. That's not to say that all the players were like that, but a good chunk of the players were like that, because people in the community are like lemmings. You know, they're like sheep. So it was just a part of the culture back then to just come off like a dick to newbies. It was like, once you establish yourself as someone of a name or someone of a reputation, you know, you gotta haze and be a dick to the newbies. It didn't matter what type of game you were playing. It was the same in Street Fighter. It was the same in Dead or Alive. It was the same in Tekken. It was just the culture of the high level community during that time. And so for I don't know how long that went on. It went on, you know, pretty much through Street Fighter 4's life. It was in multiple things. You know, multiple games, you know, had the similar rhetoric in all the communities. And so if you're just a player who plays at above casual level, who has solid fundamentals, and you're trying to just meet like-minded players, it's like you don't care about being the best. It's all about, hey, I want to get some games in. Can we do this? And you play this person, they beat the shit out of you, and they just call you a scrub. You're a nobody. Why are you playing this game? You're trash. It's like, god damn, man, I just wanted to play some games. It's like, I didn't know my manhood and my worth as a human being was on the line playing this game. And that's what it was like during, especially when the online era hit, even before the online era hit. You know, you just had people talking heads. But when the online era hit is when I became the most salty and probably the most rational and hated person in some fighting game message boards. Because I would basically throw their bullshit right back in their face. And they hated that. I was ostracized in many communities because I would call out that bullshit. It was like I hated it. And it's like at the same time, you know, they caught me on my bullshit. Because like I said, when it's a competitive environment, if you're trying to get into a community, any community, that community has a set of standards and it has its own culture. If you want to be a part of that community, then you're going to have to just become a part of that culture. It's like if you don't like the culture, then don't bother getting into that community. It's like you can't be in a fighting game community and come up as a whiny bitch or a pussy. That applies to any highly competitive environment. You can't come into that environment and expect them to cater to your feelings or your whims. It's like, it took me a while to learn that, but once I did, you know, I began to see both sides, you know. There's how I feel, and then there's how people who are in the community and adapted that culture feel. You know, I stopped being selfish. I was like, okay, I see your point of view now. I see where you're coming from. Because like I said, I started meeting people who were just, you know, whiny bitches and pussies. Like I said, I don't consider myself like a pro player, a dominant player, or even a good player. I'm decent. I'm intermediate. And then when it got to the point where I was getting hate mail from people who were just beginners, I mean, putting me down, saying, oh, you know, you're hella cheap, or you're spamming moves, and oh, why are you throwing so much, and all this other shit. It's like, bitch, I'm trying to win. It's like, why aren't you spamming moves? Why aren't you throwing? Why aren't you blocking, for one thing? It's like, just block, motherfucker. It's like, come on. You know, it's like I got hate from people who didn't know the basic fundamentals of playing a fighting game. So that's when I finally saw the perspective of high-level players, because they were the players who, they were like me. You know, they just played the game at a higher level than just your typical, you know, person just pushing buttons. You know, they had passion for the game, they enjoyed the game, and they decided to take their love of it to a higher understanding by playing the game. And they caught a lot of hell and hate for it, so much so that I think, what's his name, Sirloin, I think he's the guy who helped make the Fantasy Strike game. He wrote a whole rant as a blog called Playing to Win, and it became the fucking manifesto of the high level community around, dude, what was it, between like 07, 09, where basically he pretty much talked about the shit that high level players get from normies and casual players. And I read it, everybody read it who played fighting games at an above, you know, just pushing buttons casual level. When I read it, I saw what he was talking about. He was unapologetic with his opinions. So what that rant did is made the high level community very unapologetic in how they played the game, to the point where it just made all the toxic rhetoric, just amplified it to where they didn't give two fucks about your feelings, especially on message boards. As a new player coming in, it was rough. It was hard. You had to kiss a lot of ass to be somebody who won't get shitted on message boards. You had to kiss people you didn't know ass. You had to agree with all they're saying. You couldn't have an opposite opinion. You couldn't, yeah, as soon as you had like a common sense logic opinion to counter their bullshit, you would get ostracized in fighting game message boards. That was me. Because like I said, these fuckers played these fighting games like their lives depended on it. And if your life didn't depend on it, and if your manhood didn't depend on you playing these games, then they didn't want you in the community. That's how it was back then. So there was a period, a really good period, where just playing, you know, trying to get in communities wasn't fun. I was still playing fighting games because, like I said, I love playing fighting games. I do. I love them. I play multiple fighting games. I'm not a fan of just one game. I own many games. But just the standard of the high level community for all games shared the same type of culture. And early on, that culture was very, very toxic. It was toxic. Especially as a new player coming in. Even if it's a new player, if you're not even a beginner. Because like I said, when I came in, I would have to say perfect example was Capcom vs SNK 2. That's what got me into the 2D high level scene. Playing online, it was fun. I would have to say my winning record, I was barely winning half my matches, but when I played against good people, they were like, hey, hey, you're pretty good. You know, you should join our community. You should go to shoryuryuken.com. We got a bunch of gamers there that we think, you're pretty solid. Come over there, we can help you out, get you some tech. And so went there, but yeah, it was rough. Because like I said, you have a bunch of wannabe high level players. They just talk a lot of shit. And it's like, if you meet these dudes, you get on Xbox Live, there was no proof you beat them. Because you didn't have, on the original Xbox, you didn't have nothing that could save or no replays for your stuff. And things like that. So it was just people playing Theory Fighter and a lot of shit talking going on. And it was like, I consider the Street Fighter community, it was pretty toxic, but I didn't let it get to me. I don't think it didn't get to me until when it came to offline, when I started to go into some local offline events and meeting younger players playing the game. And those younger players would bring that toxicity into the real world. That's when it began to annoy me. Like I said, we had at a local comic book store, we had some kids, come over there. Because like I said, when I started playing the games at a high level, I was in my 30s. I was not in my 20s. I was not a teenager when I entered the FGC. So I got the mindset of an adult playing these games. And I'm playing teenagers and young adults who I'm like maybe 10 to 15 years older than these people. And they're up here saying, oh, you a scrub. Oh, you're kind of trash. Oh, what are you doing this for? Whatever, and stuff like this, talking all this shit. They wouldn't even talk to your face, not knowing who the hell you were. Since I'm not a big or tall, intimidating dude, they just openly, just talk a lot of shit. They think they could just talk to anybody however they want. And so I remember we had like this one kind of tournament, and this kid was just talking shit or whatever. And so he was talking crazy shit because he beat me like in Capcom vs SNK 2, and he's beating me. And it's like, I keep playing him, I keep playing him. And I was like, I said, okay, that's fine. Then they're like, okay, why aren't you doing anything to this dude? He's talking shit. And you just keep on losing to him or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I said, it's like, well, first we're in public. I said, fuck, I'm an adult. This guy's in high school. I said, if I lay a hand on him, I'll get arrested. That's assault. Not only that, his parents will come kick my ass. And I said, I don't know where this kid is living. His family could be all about that thug life, and my ass would get shot. So you can't just go beating up people just because they're whooping your ass in a fighting game. It's like shit. So plus it's a kid, it's like a minor. Like what the fuck, you know? So it's like so we're playing. So he's like, oh, you know, he said, you need to stop playing fighting games, you're trash. And I was like, okay. I said, I tell you what. I said, I got $20 in my pocket. And I say, this game is yours if you can beat me in a fighting game of my choice. He was like, what, for real? I said, I get to pick the fighting game, though. He was like, all right, cool. Any fighting game you got? He was like, what fighting game you playing? I was like, Dead or Alive. He's like, Dead or Alive? He's like, oh man, I played that game. He's like, dude, I'm going to school you. I'm going to smoke you. That kid couldn't even get around on me. Dead or Alive is my game. That is my game. I played against pros online and a few offline who were local back in the day. And I know I played that. That is my game. Beat the shit out of them. I roasted them. And I was like, I said, do you think I'm trash at fighting games now? He said, oh, you're true. He's like, oh, you're not. He's like, you're just really good at this game. I said, okay, I'll pick another game that we could play. He's like, all right, what other game we could play? So I just picked Street Fighter Alpha 3. Because he was beeping my ass in Capcom vs. SNK 2 and Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. But I played a shit ton of Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the PS1. That was my Street Fighter. That was my Street Fighter. I beat the shit out of him. Granted, it wasn't a total wash because he got some rounds on me, but he never won a game or a match on me. Because Street Fighter is Street Fighter. If you don't play Street Fighter, you can play Street Fighter. He got washed. And I was like, I said, you still think I'm trash at games? And he got more quiet. He was like, oh, all right, you're pretty decent. You're pretty decent. I said, you should never talk shit to people you don't know. Never talk shit to people you don't know. And so, over time, I earned my respect with this 15-year-old brat. I know that's kind of weird, me being a grown man at the time, earned this kid's respect. But, you know, this is fighting games. You know, you gotta earn it. You gotta earn your respect. No matter what your age, you gotta earn your respect. And so, you know, weeks I would come and play. You know, they accept me into their little circle. Oh, my live stream. Oh, no, it came back. My live stream died for a second. But, and they started, you know, teaching me the basic fundamentals of Capcom vs. SNK 2. Because, like I said, I've been playing a lot of these games on my own. You know, playing against a computer. And so I started to learn, you know, strategies, executions, you know, character strengths, character matchups, all of these from these teenagers. So that's when I started getting introduced to real high-level play as far as the 2D fighting game community. But you can apply the same logic to any fighting game. So during that time, I became more competitive. I started playing more games online. Different games online. I'm playing King of Fighters, I'm playing DOA, I'm playing Virtual Fighter 5, I'm playing Tekken 6, I'm playing Tekken Tag 2, I'm playing like multiple fighting games online, you know, just playing, you know, playing ranked, not really labbing, just playing the games. You know, I'm not a lab monster. The only time I go into the lab is when I'm trying to fight things that I can't stop. That's the only time you'll see me labbing a fighting game. I like going in a fighting game, losing, and then it's like, okay, I'll go in the lab, see what can I add to my skill set, you know, what I need to change, what I need to adapt, go back to the same people, figure out their tendencies, and then beat them. That's how I beat them. Like my buddy says, he said, I never seen a fighting game player beat somebody using less so much in my life. He was like, outside Justin Wong. I'm like, well, Justin Wong, his execution, his defense is like God tier. But he beats a lot of people doing less. He doesn't have to beat you with optimum combos. He just needs to beat you being, you know, solid defensively and executing when he has to and capitalizing on your mistakes. That's how he beats you. That's the way I kind of play, except I don't play these games enough to where, you know, I make it my life mission to be the best. I just want to be good enough to where I don't want to get my face beat in, to where I can have fun and meet other people who love fighting games. Not necessarily high level play, but just people who love fighting games. That is my whole thing. It's like, if you're high level and beat my face in, fine. I'm not gonna hold that against you. I will pad your stats. It's like, fighting against you will just make me better, which it does, because iron sharpens iron. I didn't become a better player until I started playing against better players, so that is a universal truth. I used to thought it was bullshit. I was like, oh yeah, they were like, oh, you need to come out, you need to play better players. I'm like, no, I don't. I just need to play offline, and you know, I'll get better that way. It's like, no, because like I said, when you're playing against human people, they have different strats, different strategies. People can adapt on the fly, and you only get better from playing, you know, other people and other people teaching you the basics. That's how you learn the game. So I went through that period of just playing online, things like that. There was information back then. The reason I wanted to bring this up, because I got into it in the comments of some video where the dude was like, because we were talking about I think the Tekken 8 heat system, and I just said basically the game is going to fundamentally change how Tekken is going to play going forward, and these people thought I was shitting on it. I'm like, no, I'm not shitting on it. I'm just stating the obvious. I'm like, I said the heat system, when you're in it, it does something that has never been done in a 3D fighting game. You have chip damage in a 3D fighting game now with the heat system. That is unprecedented. And I said, in a game that's so defensive heavy as Tekken is, oh yeah, that makes a lot of difference. That makes a lot of difference. So this person just thought I was talking out of my ass, having a bad take or whatever. I'm like, dude, I've been playing these games for 30 years. I own and play all the damn fucking Tekken games. I am not the best Tekken player. I don't play the games that much to the point where I can't even say I am like adequate. I just play enough to where it's like I can just give you a hard time. I love Tekken. I like playing the games, but it is not my 3D fighting game. DOA is. I even play Virtua Fighter better than I play Tekken. So that ought to tell you something. But I do enjoy the Tekken games, because like I said, I enjoy fighting games in general. So, but I have enough knowledge, and I do follow the high-level communities of all the major fighting games to where I can form a proper opinion of these games, because I own them, I play them. I may not play them in the high-level communities, but I play them enough, and I play it offline against good people to know the game as a whole. I follow the tournament scenes. I know the high-level players. I watch all the major tournaments. I know who the best players are. I even know who the players are who just do dank combos, but they don't win tournaments. You know, I know all that shit. So when I get into these online debates, people just think I'm talking about my ass. And so I start bringing up tournaments, start bringing up players, start bringing up, you know, actual strategies in these games. And they're like, okay, this dude actually knows what he's talking about. But, you know, people don't like to be wrong, so they'll just start to troll you. You know, and talk shit just to piss you off. And so I wouldn't say fighting games, to me, as far as my experience, fighting games, when they stop becoming fun, is I survived the whole toxicity era, which I find weird. It was like, if there was a time to hate fighting games, it was in the era I just talked about, you know, the early 2000s on the message boards, where it was hard to break into any high-level community, you know, wading through all the shit talking, people, you know, you play people, they're calling you scrubs, they're outing you on the internet, they're just talking mad shit, they're even mean to you in fucking public, they don't even know you and talk shit to your face. If there was a time to scare people out of fighting games, that was it, especially after, you know, Sirloin's rant about playing to win. But no, I survived that whole era with my sanity intact. Why? Well, that's because I started my own little kind of offline scene with Dead or Alive. I started organizing some get-togethers and tournaments and things like that. And plus, it was the hype era. You know, you can't hate on fighting games during the hype era. It was like, you know, you had all the hype tournaments. Evo was blowing up. Street Fighter 4 was blowing up. You know, every game was having major, you know, stuff going on between 2009 to around 2017, 2018. But when I started to not stop having fun playing these games is when the standard of play got raised. But that's because the amount of resources and information, you had access to made it to where almost like you had no excuse not to play the game at a semi-high level. So, for instance, what's a perfect example if I got into... I would have to say probably DOA 5. When that came out, is kind of what broke the camel's back. DOA 5, I love and hate that game. I type about it and using that example in all my fighting game debates of how a game where they try to make the game accessible, but at the same time they also destroy the game's core gameplay mechanics to where they tailored the game to high level play. Because DOA, when Itagaki, the guy who created the game and directed it up to DOA 4, he made the game he wanted to play. It was a read-react game that had a counter hold system that basically stopped people from just pushing buttons, and also it forced you to guess. The game, he added a game that made the game, you know, basically kind of random. And not many people like their fighting games random. You know, they like, if I'm overloading you with offense, then I should be rewarded with overloading with you with offense. That didn't apply to DOA. If you kept on doing the same shit on offense, I would counter it and it would do hella damage. I can just beat you with counters. I won't even have to throw a punch if you just keep on throwing buttons at me. That's DOA. It punished people who just mashed and just try to overload you with offense. Well, DOA 5 changed all that. They put in a mechanic called the critical burst. It's a one move, and you could put this move in the middle of a combo, and once you hit that move, you couldn't counter. If the person hits you with the move, you couldn't counter. And they could do whatever the hell they wanted to do. That basically destroyed the rock, paper, scissors element of DOA. Now, for high-level players, especially for younger players, the Gen Ys, the Gen Zs, who just like pushing buttons and doing flashy combos, oh, they loved it. They loved it. But for us old school players who read and react, and we just wanted to beat you, but doesn't care about being flashy doing it, yeah, we got kind of left in the dust. We had to learn a game that we've been playing for over a decade all over again. We had to learn the game. And I didn't, you know, put the pieces all together as far as playing Dead or Alive 5 until after the game pretty much died. That's when I started to be like, okay, I finally get it, how to play this game. But it was after the game pretty much died. So it was like, man. But yeah, that's the game that pretty much broke the camel's back for me as far as fun. Because it was no longer fun. Not because I was getting my face beat in, which is, I really wasn't. I had an A rank, which isn't high in DOA 5, because they can go up to U or some kind of weird, and you'll get these stars or whatever. But I played most of my time in lobbies, not a lot of time in ranked, so I don't know how good I was, because I didn't play a lot of ranked, because like I said, I stopped having fun. I just kept playing with friends. That's how I got introduced to Sandra, her fiance Gabe, some other players. I also got introduced to some higher level players in DOA like Hoodless. I even got my face beat in by Sonic Fox when he was playing the game. You know, quite a few people, they would come into our lobbies with my buddies, because we were probably the only lobby on that night, and they'll come in and beat our face in. Which was perfectly fine. We didn't get salty about it. We're just like, okay, they're just better than us. We got our ass kicked. Whatever. And, but the fact that a game that I've been playing for decades just had one core mechanic. Well, also the counter system got nerfed in terms of damage. That also played a part. But had one core mechanic added, completely destroyed the game for me. And we just started to see a trend of games just putting more accessible options of games. And it came to the point where, you know, legacy skill or just old school play didn't really matter. It's like the game forces you to lab the games. And I tell you in my video, I am not a lab monster. I don't like spending hours playing tutorials, going through training modes, studying frame data. I'm not that type of player. And you know what? I do all right, because I am not trying to be a pro. I'm not. So it's like, for me, it doesn't concern me. I don't really care. And so, and even still, even without labbing the game, I still got good enough to where I could hold my own against some people who were going to offline tournaments, and some players who eventually became pro. I held my own and even beat them a couple of times. And so, and that's from not labbing the game, but just playing the game for hours. Like I said, I do have a little talent for playing these games at above a casual level. And since I love them so much, I play them for God-like amount of time. And I started playing online against other people. And so I get to learn different strategies. I also would talk to people. I would read messages boards. Granted, I wouldn't comment. I would read. I soak up information like a sponge. I watch YouTube videos. I watch high-level tournaments. It's like the announcers give you so much information of what is plus, what is minus, that you don't even need to lab a game. You just need to watch high-level tournaments. And you'll get all the information you need as far as playing these games above a casual level. So that's what I did. But DOA 5, it's like I would have to say, yeah, around 2012, in those times where I stopped having fun playing fighting games, because they became work. They forced it to become work, because the standard entry of playing these games to have fun became work. You had to play at an intermediate level just to have fun. When I'm talking intermediate, if we were to go by like rank, intermediate would be between a B and A rank. That's intermediate. That's how I would gauge it. I don't know how it would be in Street Fighter terms. I would say intermediate as far as Street Fighter 6. Well, I don't know. There's quite a few people using modern controls. But I would say if you're intermediate in Street Fighter 6, your ass should be maintaining at least probably as low as gold and probably as high as platinum. Because I have played against some gold and platinum players and beat their faces in this game. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, I think like one match over my winning streak, I played one dude. He was like a gold Kimberly, but they were using modern controls, and I turtled for dear life. I'm just blocking and punishing, Because I've seen enough Kimberly, you know, high-level matches and players to like, okay, your defense got to be on point. You can't mash against Kimberly. You will get wrecked. And so I just use basic stuff. I throw punished a lot. This person wouldn't break my throws. And that's how I beat this person. And that's how I went. I had like a 5. I lost my first 5 or 6 matches on ranked. And then I went on that win streak. And I totally skipped the whole rank. Because I beat this one person who was like a fucking like gold. I skipped fucking a whole rank. I skipped beginner. Because I beat this one person who was a gold in rank mode. And the person was total ass. I was like, man, this person sucks. And then I lost to a person who was like a beginner with a fucking modern Ryu. The next to end my losing streak. I mean my winning streak. So it was like, it is what it is. It's like it's like I raise up to competition and then I'll just lose to the scrubbiest shit on the planet. So it happens. That's Street Fighter. And so like I said, I can see both sides of the whole thing. If you want to do high level play, you find the competitive aspects and the whole high level community fun. This is not to dissuade you. This is just to bring up why certain people like me found when it got introduced pretty much it made these games not fun. It's like I'm happy that the standard of play have gotten raised to the point where I don't get as much hate mail anymore when I beat people. Granted, I still get hate mail. I'll get those people. It's not hate, it's more like I play people now and beat them and I'll get a message telling me that I'm not fun to play with. And it's like it's different than before. Before it was like, oh, why are you spamming? Why are you hitting me with all these throws? Why are you doing this? The standard of play have been raised so much to where it's like these people know exactly how I'm playing, knowing why they're getting punished, why I'm beating them, and so they just say I'm not fun to play against. You know, I'm not over trying to hit multiple buttons. I'm not trying to do any flashy shit. I'm boring to play against because, like Sir Lawrence said in his rant, I'm playing to win. I am going to block for dear life. I am going to throw punish. I am going to punish you. I'm going to bait you to do shit unsafe. That's how I'm going to beat you. It's like when me and my buddy play, it's like watching 2 old men playing Street Fighter. It's like we play old man Street Fighter. That's how we play. We don't play new school Street Fighter. We play old man Street Fighter. Which is block, a lot of defense, a lot of throws, a lot of punish. You're not going to see no fucking 8 to 15 to 20 hit combos. You might see one or two once in a while if we're lucky or if we're executing on that day. But other than that, we're going to beat you with like 3 to 5 hit combos and lots of throws and lots of blocking. We're boring. But we win. And the whole point is to win. And it's like, my goal is not to embarrass you. It's not to style on you. It's not to, you know, clip a video on YouTube saying I beat you with this dang combo. It's me I just want to beat you. That's the whole goal of playing fighting games. I'm just here to beat you. That's it. And if you beat me, great. Let's fight again. Let's run that back. Oh, I beat you that time. Okay, let's run that back. Okay, you beat me. Oh, you're on a 2-match winning streak. Like, oh, okay, I'm kind of salty. Let's run that back. Then I beat you 2 times. You know, just fun, engaging, just playing the game. That's it. That's all I want when I'm playing these fighting games. I'm not trying to prove a point. I'm not trying to prove my manliness to you. I'm just trying to have fun playing a game. And so, when playing these games at a high level, it becomes work. Like I said, with pro players or people who want to become pro, it's a job. But if it's something you love, it's a passion, then it doesn't seem like work. Like I said, I'm an artist. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. At the same time, I do feel art is work. But what if I'm drawing for shits and giggles? Yeah, I can draw something for shits and giggles for like 8 to 10 hours, and it won't seem like work. But shoot, once in a while I get a commission of something out of my comfort zone, oh, then it becomes work. It's like, man, this person got me drawing this shit, and I don't really want to draw it, and I know if, when I do draw it, it's going to kind of look like ass, but you still got to do it anyway. They paid you to draw it, so you got to draw it, get it done. And, you know, it's work. But when fighting games became work to me, they became, you know, not fun. And I can say with Street Fighter 6, this is the first time I've had fun playing a fighting game. It's like I've always been buying fighting games. I haven't stopped, you know, buying them before Street Fighter 6. But this is the first fighting game in a long time where I've had fun. It brought back that late teen, early 20 enjoyment that I had for fighting games, where it was just like, oh, I'm just out here putting busting. I'm having fun. I'm meeting other people who, you know, who just want to go out there and have fun. You know, we're not trying to play for pride. We're not trying to play for ranked. We're not trying to beat each other to embarrass each other. We're not trying to beat each other to have an epic pop-off. We're not playing for money. You know, we're just beating each other to see who's the best player at that moment and maybe that day. Because the next day, somebody's going to be salty from all them losses, and they're going to come back with some different shit. And, you know, that's how it goes. You know, they're going to come back. They'll be like, hey, dude, we need to run that back. It's like, oh, we're going to play some Street Fighter today? Yeah, let's do that. And so we spend like the next 5 or 6 hours, you know, beating our faces in. It's like, and then we'll have a lobby, other people come in, then it's just a group of us beating our faces in. And then some random pro will come in, and then he's beating all our faces in. Or some beginner will come in, then we'll beat his face in, but then we'll feel bad about it, so then we'll start teaching him how to play the game. We'll be like, all right, we can't just keep beating on this dude, man, because it's not fun to lose. So we'll be like, all right, man, it's like, look, this is what you need to do. You know, we can't have you in this lobby, you know, without getting up to speed on how to play this game, because we feel your pain, bro. You're getting your face beat in. Let us help you get better at this game so we can have fun where everybody is on an equal playing field. You know, that's what it is. It's like when you know that your opponent, you know, can't hold his own, you don't prey on it. It's like true strength. People who are truly strong do not bully the weak. You know, you don't bully the weak. If you're strong, that's something you just don't do. You know, I don't like doing that. I'll be the first person, if I'm with beginners, I will give up rounds. I will give up matches just so this person can get their confidence up. Then once they do, if they start to feel themselves, then I'll take the kitty gloves off little by little and be like, okay, all right, do you want to know how to beat what I just did? Well, this is what you need to do. It's like, okay, you got to stop doing that bullshit. You know, I would educate while I'm beating their faces in. That's how you get more people to play fighting games. That's how you get more people in a community, you know? I would have to say, I think during the recent era of fighting games, you do have more people involved of trying to get people to play fighting games, which is great. The fighting game community as a whole has been more welcoming to new players, and that's a good thing. Half of that has to be that a lot of toxic ass people back then are now adults. Some of them got families, got kids, you know, they're older now, they're no longer kids themselves, so all that childish bullshit, they outgrew it. So a lot of the old heads who were toxic on the message boards in the early 2000s, yeah, they grown now, they grew out of that. So it's good to see the growth in terms of maturity in the high level community, to the point where it's not as toxic until you go on Twitter. But most people our age of fighting game players, like OGs, we don't go on Twitter. We stay away from it. You know, we play in lobbies against ourselves, amongst ourselves. You know, we'll get into ranked early, like when the game drops, But after we get our fill in ranked, we stop playing ranked. We just play lobbies, you know, with each other. You know, we'll go through our rank phase, see how far we can get, and then we'll get to a certain point. We're like, okay, we had our fill. That's it. Time to move on. But I would have to say, oh my God, you got that armor, huh? Oh, got to throw. There we go. Yeah, some of this stuff is very easy. Oh, he hit me out of that? Here. There we go. But yeah, at the end of the day, as far as like high level play, it did kind of destroy the fun of fighting games at a certain point. It did. I'm sure that wasn't their purpose. The people who were, you know, hella toxic, you know, they're just trying to keep the culture within their communities alive and relevant, because that's the environment they like to be in. That's the environment that pretty much broke them in as players. So I can understand, you know, some of the toxicity of the time. As far as the whole standard of play now, it is what it is. It's a good and kind of a bad thing. And I think with Street Fighter 6, they introduced a system where, you know, they're trying to nurture new players, because the more new players that play, the more people that's going to be involved in the game. There's the more potential money that the company can make. And plus, you just, you know, you gotta, as far as your brand, you gotta cater. You gotta keep the younger generation of players coming to your game, a new generation of players. You know, that's how you keep, you know, your product going. There we go. But yeah, I would have to say it's kind of half and half. It's kind of 50-50. I can't fully blame the high level community for you know, making fighting games not fun, but it did have a hand in it. But like I said, it's all about what direction, where you want to go, what you want to do as far as playing fighting games, you know, how you want to treat it, you know, and things like that, you know, kind of dictates, you know, your fun level with playing these games. It's like for me, it's all about competition. It's all about the competition. Do I want to be the best, you know, ever? No. Do I want to be Evo champion? No. Do I want to be the best as far as local? Not really. Don't really care. But to those who do, I understand. It's like, I get it. And, you know, it is what it is. It's like, the standard has been raised. It's like now you're just going to have to lab your fighting games. That's just the nature of the beast right now. And it's kind of, well, if you're playing online, like if you're going to be a 50 casual and just play these games offline, like I said, War Tour mode, you even have arcade or whatever. But if you have somewhat of an internet connection, you are going to be playing this game online. So like online play is half the experience of these games now. I would have to say it's like 70% of the experience of fighting games now. I thought I had Candy's air cake. Probably didn't equip it. But yeah, since this game is pretty much set to online play, I haven't even like turned off online to see how much content I have access to, just to test it out. Okay, so he's using that. Gotcha. Yep, as you can see, I have no combos once I get that fucking impact. Dude is just throwing out random whatever. I might switch that out for a Dragon Punch, because every time I try to do that fucking Larissa ass Superman punch, I get hit out of it. He did hella damage. But at least I level up Ken, leveling up all these styles. As you can see, I'm just leveling up my character, just pushing buttons, just enjoying the game as is. Oh my god, I finally using somebody using what's her name style. Oh my god. I better heal. Otherwise I'm gonna lose this match. Better heal. Damn. Yeah, all in all, as far as after me kinda hating not having fun playing fighting games, after that period, Dead or Alive 5 has just been kinda ho-hum. I've been collecting older fighting games for the PS2, PS1, original Xbox, but pretty much not really playing fighting games online, because like I said, I just stopped having fun. I stopped caring about ranked and things like that. But I would have to say Street Fighter 6 did bring me back in. I started playing my other fighting games a lot more as far as playing online. Actually labbing my games. And with modern games, they give you so many tutorials, so much information in the games that you really have no real excuse not to play almost at an intermediate level. It's like you have no excuse not to if you just put in the time playing these games. It's like they give you so much information. There's so much information on YouTube that you really have no excuse. It's like if you paid, $60 something, even bought this game used, if you paid money to play this game, then the developers expect you to play this game at an intermediate level. They're trying to get everybody on the same page. Yeah, majority of players are not going to be a pro. Not many are going to be even an online warrior. So not even are going to be as good as enough as some of these announcers who don't really, top 32 tournaments, but they do play the games enough to where they can get to master rank with most or all the characters, and they have enough knowledge of the game to where they can beat, many intermediate players. They can beat, just average Joes at the game. But as an average Joe, there is no excuse from you to be good enough at these games just to have fun with all the tutorials and stuff in modern fighting games. So, like I said, the standard has been raised. It's like there's no excuse for you not to be decent at these fighting games once you buy them. It's like your only excuse is you just bought it, you played it for a month, and then you got bored, and then it's just collecting dust in your library. But with sadly, if you decide to do that, you pick up again, you come back like a couple of months later, well, the standard of trying to play the game just to have fun will be raised again, especially on online play. Shoot, I remember one time I just took 3 days off. It's like I was holding my own in the fucking avatar battles in this game, and I was like, I was a high level. I was like 60 or so. With my avatar, I stopped playing for 3 days, came back, I already see people like level 75, level 80 in the avatar battles. And then like a few days later, I start seeing people who are level 100 and things like that. So there are people who are just playing this game for, you know, hours. You know, they're putting in the time because they enjoy the game. It's like, you know, you will have some tryhards, you know, who are just do shit just because they just want to just beat people's faces in, which is fine. Not trying to knock people. If that's your whole goal of having fun, then so be it. You know, if that's your goal is to get to level 100 with your avatar, to where you could just hit people like with 2 or 3 combos and beat the shit out of them, then so be it. If that's your goal, hey, more power to you. But I just thought that was funny. It's like you can be going for a week, and then the whole meta and, you know, height of play will be raised. I don't think I have touched this game in probably like a week and a half, and I went online last night, but I had to make sure I had to warm up first. Like I said, you definitely want to warm up before you decide to go online and engage in fisticuffs. And the standard level for the avatar battles is like level 80. I'm only level 75. Like I said, I stopped playing this game for like a week and a half, and I'm going to the avatar battles. Most players are higher level than me. It's like as soon as I start up to like send my avatar up to battles, everybody want to fight me because I'm like the lowest level in the fucking lobby. But you know, I won half my fights. It's like because half the players were modern, and like I said, I play boring. I play lame. You know, shout out to Justin Wong. I play lame, and like I said, I play to win. I block. I punish. I don't throw a lot of buttons out, and that frustrates people. So I won half my fights. The fights I lost, I just got overpowered because the persons did more damage. They had a higher life bar. When you're fighting with avatars, it's based on, you know, your character build, and things like that. I might have to do a video on how to, you know, for avatar battles and stuff like that. Granted, like I said, I haven't got to level 100, but I do have some equipment where if I put it on my character, it will boost up their stats, you know, their damage, their defense, and things like that. Like, for example, like any punch my character does just does hella damage. See, look, I just gotta touch people and they die because of the equipment she has. I just have to do that all the time and just go through most of my opponents because she does so much damage with her fists. And so when I try to go avatar battles, I have to make sure I have the right special moves that do a lot of punching so I can maximize that damage. You know, like I said, you know, with high level play, it's not all about what you can do. It's about, you know, flashiness. It's about your mindset, really. Me, I got the mindset of it. I just don't have the work ethic. I'll be completely honest. I don't like being in the lab. I don't like wasting time, you know, working on polishing up in combos. Well, for me, it's all about getting in, you know, facing my opponent and just beating them, you know, with raw skill or what I got, you know, trying to beat them, outsmart them, and things like that. That's how I play these games. You know, it's more intellectual. It's more intellectual. Now, intellectual players usually are lab monsters, but I'm just not a lab monster. Half of that is because I'm lazy, ain't gonna lie. But Street Fighter 6 got me having fun playing fighting games again. I never thought I would say that with a Street Fighter game, but it comes full circle. My first fighting game I ever played religiously was Street Fighter 2. So, and then my other favorite fighting game was Street Fighter Alpha 3. Street Fighter 4 was alright. Didn't really care for Street Fighter 5, even though I own it. But I'm mostly a 3D fighting game player. You know, Dead or Alive, Virtual Fighter. Play Tekken, even though I'm kind of ass at Tekken. But for people who are filthy casual, and for people who just want to play fighting games above a casual level but want to have fun, I would have to say definitely, you know, high level play for certain type of players does destroy the fun. It does. You know, but if you're a person who finds fun with the culture of high level play, as far as the community, the aspects of high level play, then, you know, more power to you. This is not a knock against that community. It's gotten better. In the past, it was very toxic. It's gotten better now. But for people who do, they're all about the frame data. They're all about labbing, talking about the game. You know, they're just passionate people. You know, that's perfectly fine. Not hating on them. I guess all I'm trying to say is that they just got to realize when people put their money down for these games, they play them for different and specific reasons. You know, everybody doesn't have to play high level play just to say, you know, to have fun with the game. You know, as that's what the point really of this video. And I think it does get kind of lost, but I think what was it? What's the channel called? Anime Illuminati with Juna, when he talked about how Japanese players are trying to get, you know, VTubers and other players and live streams. Hey, Shinigami Dragon, how you doing, bro? You know, trying to play, you know, Street Fighter and other fighting games at a high level. They had a tournament, they had hella viewers for it. And I was like, I think if we had, you know, people who introduce fighting games to casuals like that, just to teach them the fun of playing fighting games, you will see a lot more people playing fighting games. Because that's what Street Fighter 2 was. That's what a lot of fighting games were before the high level community started to dictate the level of play. Because that's what made fighting games not fun, is when people started telling you, oh, you're not playing the game at, and then they beat your face in, and then you're like, okay, all those hours and times I played playing this game, and you just beat my face in. And basically telling me is like I'm not playing the game right, and I suck, and that I'm a scrub, I need to get good. It's like, yeah, you're killing the fun, man. You're a buzzkill at that point. And so that's what high level play introduced. You know, when you raise the standards, that's what happens. And but I think the fighting game community is slowly maturing. They're kind of getting out of that childishness, which is good. Haven't seen too much of it except when you're on Twitter. I think the last time I seen a lot of it was like 2017, 2018, when the term "get good" came out. It's like the term "get good" replaced scrub. But yeah, Shinigami, I noticed you've been playing a lot of Tekken 7. I know they had like a Tekken 8 beta that came out, and people been playing that, I think, over the weekend. But I don't got a PS5. I don't plan on getting a PS5 anytime soon. Actually, I think, to be honest, I think these will probably be this game. And, well, yeah, probably just this game will probably be the last game, like, major fighting game I'm gonna buy in a while. I will probably buy some older games, but like I said, I don't plan on getting the next gen system anytime soon. By the time I decide to get one, those games will be cheap. You know, as far as Mortal Kombat, Tekken 8. Oh my god, dude's just jumping everywhere. Come here. Shinigami, did you get Street Fighter 6? Did you get Street Fighter 6, Shinigami? Oh no. It's fun. It's a fun game, it is. When you can, you can probably just, you know, get it on the cheap. but I think this game is gonna hold its value for a while. To be completely honest, though, I think the PS4 is on its last legs as far as recent new games, though. It's like I'm starting to notice, in the PSN store, like when you look up new games, there's like no major releases. You're getting nothing but like these fucking, what do you call them? Shovelware games. You're getting like a lot of these stupid indie games showing up in the store. So that's when you know when a console is on its last legs. It was the same way with the PS3. Like the PS3 before it died had a bunch of shovelware in its store. A lot of these indie games that are like between $4 to like $15. Oh my god, why are you not doing that? I keep on doing that move. I'm trying to do my special. I remember it took me like almost a few days to get used to how to use my D-pad playing these games. I'm trying to do is like if you have a Dragon Punch move and then you have a super special that do two double fireball motions, it's a pain in the ass to do specials. Okay, that's why. It's not a forward fireball. It's a double fireball backwards. Okay, I was doing the wrong motion the whole time. Yeah, that's just me being stupid. Fail. But yeah, I think I'm done with my rant for tonight. I think I've said all that I wanted to say. Oh my god. Okay, that was kind of a glitch. Eat that. Oh yeah, the beta is done. Yeah, I think it ended what, either today or yesterday. I think I maxed out Kimberly. Did I max her out? Let me go to my masters. Oh, that's messages. Status. Did I max out Kimberly? Yes, I did. I think I might have unlocked her secondary outfit. No, first I gotta beat her. I gotta beat her in like one last match to get her, no, I have to get like 100 bond. The only thing you do when you max out her rank style is you get her super special. But I need to get like 100%, bond to get her alternative outfit. Alright. I think the next one on the master is Jerry. Then definitely Cammy to get her outfit. Oh yeah, let me go buy some food. Because I think I ran almost out of health potions or cans. Yeah, it was just me, an older dude, talking about high level play, destroy the fun of fighting games. I'm sure either people watch this video and just think of me as just some random scrub, barely know what he talked about. Because like I said, there's a lot of people this generation who never been alive as long as I have and played fighting games as long as I have, will probably comment. I think some old heads, some above casual playing old head players would understand. They would know what I'm talking about. But younger players, probably not. Probably not. I would be surprised if somebody watched this video and the first thing they'll say is like, oh my god, you need to get good. Get good, motherfucker. Alright, so that filled up all my vitality. Let's see, maybe I can hit up another city on my map. Let's see. Map. As far as the future of fighting games, don't know. Don't know it's gonna have a future. As far as the esport aspects of fighting games, it looks pretty bright. Street Fighter 6, you know, people are hyped. Very good game. Have fun playing a fighting game in a while to this game. Tekken 8, as far as Mortal Kombat Tekken 8, don't really care. Don't have a PS5, don't plan on owning one anytime soon. So it's not really something I'm concerned about. Let's see what Cammy got to say. Uh-oh, she's mad. Oh shit, she wants to fight. Alright, let's spar. She might kick my ass. Let's see what level she's at. Oh, she's only level 24. Shoot, I just gotta breathe on her. There she go. There goes Cammy. Yeah, when you start seeing them like around level 60 or so, then you know you're like at level 7, level 6, level 7 difficulty. Right now I think they're at arcade difficulty. Oh, she got me. See, that move alone added a new wrinkle to Street Fighter. Did I get it? Got it. Well, I know you're the foul move, Cammy, but I had to beat you down. So don't settle. Trading is the only way. Oh, went up 7 points. Oh, 2D not for you? That's fine. 2D fighting games, I love them. I love the aesthetic of playing them. As far as being really good at them, no. Yeah, 3D fighting games are my forte. I'm better playing 3D fighting games. Oop. Gotta get my drink. I should have put more sugar in that coffee. See, I can drink coffee with not a lot of sugar when it's ice cold, but when it starts to get room temperature, it just tastes like ass. Uh-oh, what I got? A little storyline for Cammy here? How would you respond if I told you they were a threat? How threatening are they? Global recognized blue chip company. Nothing on their record, no incidents, past investigations, all reveal the company to be above board. But I can't help but think something is amiss here. What is it, Cammy? Cammy? That CERN has some kind of connection to Shadaloo. Well, of course, the Street Fighter, everything's connected to Shadaloo. Looking to be working with someone like yourself, someone who's delved into Metro City's shady underbelly. Don't want to use those skills to fish for intel. You want to take on the world, correct? By all means, return to your journey, but I'd like to maintain this relationship of cooperation we've built. Wherever you end up, I'll always be but a message away. If anything happens, do reach out. Yay, Cammy! Emote as an award. So I got, you see the Cammy resuming mission emote as an award. For increasing volume, you can set it by the setting. Yeah, they do give you like little animations and things. Cammy is now more likely to pose in photo mode. Did I max her out yet? Probably not. Things proceeding well, or do you find yourself milked when things don't go your way in fights? So that simply means you've a wall you're trying to overcome. Find a quiet, face failure, directly analyze your fights. All of this will sharpen both your skills and your show. Yep, she's right. Wait, what level do I got her as? I think I almost got her maxed out as a master. Let's see. Yeah, I got her bond to like 91. I just need to give her some more presents to get it up to 100, and I can unlock her outfit. Let's see, what kind of gifts can I give her? Yes, I want to give you something. Psycho charge. Cookbook. Natto. Luxury heat pack. Let's give her that.
Thank you.
Oh, it went up by 2. Okay. So she didn't hate it. Give her a prepaid money card. What does she think about that? Oh, went by 2 again. Let's give her all the prepaid money cards.
Thank you.
Alright. Only 3 more points. Bad dream, you say? Oh, please, just put it behind you. Alright. Gift, gift, gift. Another prepaid card.
Thank you.
And it went by 2. Only 1 more to go. And I'll get the sexy Cammy outfit. See if you like celery chips. Wait, what? You got a PS5 and it's still in the box? You haven't opened up your PS5 yet?
Thank you.
Yeah! Got her outfit too.
A minute, if you would.
You know how Shally was able to become such a massive criminal organization? Military technology? Bison's leadership and charisma? Those are results. I'm talking about the cause. Bison's psycho power is at the heart of it all. A demonic power that can bend others to his will or destroy them. We were called dolls, soldiers subservient to M. Bison's will, forced to commit unspeakable atrocities. Shadaloo might have fallen, but I have no doubt that many former dolls are still struggling with the effects of that curse. I think of all of them as my sisters, and I'll do whatever I can to save them all. Just as I have found a home for myself and Delta Red, my wish is that they all get the chance to lead their own lives. Though it's already too late for one of them, all we can do for her now is live on and make sure she's remembered. Oh, but you killed one? It's been a while since I tried to keep up with Street Fighter lore. It's been a while. Alrighty. Okay, I forgot how I do photo mode. How I do photo mode. Button was I pushing? Damn it. Was it this one? This one? Okay, here. No, that's not it. Camera. There we go. Oops, excuse me. Selfie mode on. There she is. For expression. Oh my god, her teeth are yellow. Girl, you need to brush your teeth. Alright. I forgot how to take a picture. Oh. Oh. Damn it. I think you just use the whole other button to take pictures. Not like you can take the photo in game. But yeah, you have like a little photo mode. She did kind of do like a little pose when I raised the camera. What? PS5 Pro may be a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see some buzz on that on some YouTube channels. But yeah, now I got Cammy's sexy outfit. So let's check that out. I'm going to get out of the World Tour mode. And go to Fighting Ground. So we can get Cammy in all her butt cheek loving glory. Actually, it took forever to like get on fucking Chun-Li's. But Cammy's was easy. I didn't have to do much. I didn't have to use her style that much. Yeah, there we go. Classic Cammy. I don't know how long I'm gonna do using Cammy. Until the last time I used Cammy seriously was Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold. No, not Street Fighter. Yeah, Street Fighter Alpha 2 Gold on the Sega Saturn. That was the only time where I tried to make Cammy my main. I think I did beat the game with her. I think. The arcade mode.
I'm not like I was back then. People looking up for me now.
I like this art style. It's kind of weird how the coloring is. The way they color kind of makes everything look kind of slick and wet. There's like a lot of highlights.
What is it? Why are you laughing?
It's nothing. Do you remember that charm I gave you? It's still hanging off your phone, isn't it? I just pictured it and had to laugh.
It is, actually. I'm rather fond of it. Thanks again, by the way.
Don't mention it. Anyway, good luck with your work.
Uni says I'm paranoid. Frankly, I can't believe that shadowing has been truly eradicated. And I find it curious.
I will say that Capcom did listen to the feedback with Street Fighter V. How, I don't know, the arcade modes have been kind of lacking. Street Fighter V, they did improve it over time, but I like how they had more voice acting, more story. They went all out with the offline content with this game. It's like they gave you a full-fledged fucking fighting game RPG with the World Tour mode, and then they gave you a pretty good Battle Hub online lobby system, and then they also give you a really good arcade mode, tutorials, and other stuff. So it's like when you drop down your money for this game, you got a full package. But yeah, old school Cammy. And yes, this outfit did get hate. Oh, so cute. Did get hate by the weirdos on Twitter. Capcom did bring back the fan service. Why they put me up against this fucker in my first fight? See, people. Oh my god, man! No wonder people use Cammy. I'm doing basic Cammy shit. Beating the hell out of E Honda right here. Oh my god. Oh, why you gonna break her back like that? She got good butts though. She has good normals.
Right. Who's next?
Made her boobs smaller. Well, she's never been like really busty. Ooh, dude, we got that weird turnaround with the booty jiggle when she got that kick in. Oh, wow, her booty cheeks do kind of clap. Oh, that command grab. I got throw loops. Yep. No. Oh, there you go. Dude, Street Fighter 5, they were trying to like censor the sexiness. they would have zoomed that camera up to like above her butt cheeks in Street Fighter 5, so you wouldn't get all her butt cheeks. Ooh. Now we get this character. To be honest, if Kimberly came out in the 90s, she probably would have been considered like the coolest. She probably would have been one of the most popular Street Fighter characters of all time. But since she came out in the modern era with all the fucking woke and social political politics going on, they'll be like, oh my god, they just put her in, you know, just for socially progressive purposes. But I think they kind of did, but I think they kind of balanced it out by, like I said, they brought the sexy back. You know, they brought some fan service back to the game. So I'll give them a pass for pandering, if that was the whole thing of making Kimberly in the game. Well, to be honest, they never had like really a black female character. Well, they had an African one. That was Elena in Street Fighter 3. You know, she was from Africa, but they never had an African American female character. Oh. Yeah, she is just pushing buttons on my ass. But I think Kimberly does have a target combo. I think Cammy does too, but I just don't know what it is. Like I said, Cammy is not my main. I'm just paying basic bitch Cammy. Graphics on this game is really nice. Actually, I need to go to my cousin's house and see what it looks like on PS5. Looks like shit. I'm looking at it on YouTube. It looks like ass. But my Wi-Fi is just shitty. Damn, Cammy. Oh, she burnt out. Spiral arrow. Oh, I gotta go up against Chunners. Chun-Li. I remember Capcom trying to make these two rivals. Well, they were like the only two Street Fighter females for a while. Gotcha, bitch. Ah, missed. My block is still a block. Did block that lasted though. Oh, she knew I was going for that throw. Oh, she could have punished that so bad. Chemis wins. Can I go undefeated in arcade mode? Oh, JP, no, not JP.
Pardon the interruption. I'm investigating a criminal syndicate called Shadow. I heard there may be some leads here.
I'm afraid I know nothing of that. Now, if you've no other business, a very hungry cat is awaiting my return.
Wait, I mean, freeze! Don't move! Well,
He possesses the psycho power.
You will tell me what you know. I'll use force if I must.
Interesting art style, but I think the whole wetness of his palette scheme is a little too much. But I do like the art style though. Oh, he got me. He's level 6. He's not playing like how fucking JP players play online. JP players online are the most annoying players to deal with. Especially good JP. Oh, he go punish. Yeah, he has decent buttons. Gotcha, bitch. Oh no, he got me, no! Oh, he would have finished. If this was like a good player, he would have finished me off. He would have finished me off. He got what up? Got a level 3 equipped. He would have killed me. Oh shit. I tried to go for the throw. Now he did his level 3. I don't know how to do her level 3. Oh shit. Oh my god, computer janked me. Oh, computer was smart. Didn't go undefeated. No. Oh, he's all shouty. Don't do her, my little doll. Oh no, Cammy. Should have been a lot more patient in that fight.
Continuing assignment.
She's like, I ain't going out like no punk.
Beginning operation. Cycle.
perfect. Oh, she gave all the ass. Okay, now the computer is like, well, actually, it's one level down than it was before. It's like when you lose like a round or a match, they'll lower the difficulty. Block. Okay, now the computer's just throwing in all the shenanigans. Oh, how do you get that throw? Got him. Go for legs.
Something's amiss.
Chemis wins.
Who was that man? He got away from me. I'm certain he knows something.
Yeah, the line art, as far as the drawing, is really good.
Found
The
no
coloring
answer.
style,
More things now closing around me.
while very stylistic, is just weird. Adds a wet look to everything. Which works pretty good with hair and certain different textures, but you can't apply that same coloring to everything.
I can truly put an end to all this.
But I'm not hating on it. The artist is good. The art is good. It's not hating.
Right.
Just being a little critical.
Of course I can.
Because like I said, like, perfect example is their sweater supposed to be like cloth, but it looks like it's wet or it's like metallic. And yeah, that doesn't apply for all type of textures.
Forgive me. I have lost sight of myself.
Thank you. This fight is not just mine alone. It belongs to all of us.
Belongs to all of us.
And I will succeed. For all our sakes.
Cammy's voice actor is pretty good. Oh, well, my live stream finally bit it. Finally bit the dust. So with that, I will call it a night on this live stream, because all you're seeing is a black screen with a world symbol with a fucking triangle with an exclamation point in it. But for those of you guys who stuck around and watched my live stream, thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by Shinigami and chatting. I'll probably have to hit you up for some Tekken 7 later. For those of you guys who watch later, thanks for watching. Y'all stay safe. God bless.